So this latest chapter of One Punch Man is a banger, and it's not because of any crazy action sequences, although there is one in this one, which was pretty awesome. The main reason you guys are going to love this chapter is because we get the return of one of the most favorite characters in the entire series, Garou. Yes, Garou is back at the end of this chapter, and he's also going to play a pretty big role in the coming chapters based on what happens here. So that's definitely something for you guys to get excited about, but on top of that, Saitama is also seemingly joining a new hero organization, and no, it's not the one that you think. It's honestly much more funny than that. So we have a lot to cover in this chapter. Let's just get right to it. Just as a quick recap though, from the previous chapter, we found out that Blue was chasing after a My Mask, and it just so happens that it was at the same time that Saitama was leaving with a My Mask, because we remember that he kind of like skirted off with him once he was revealed to be a monster. However, Genos intercepts him and pretty much tells him that like what Saitama's doing has nothing to do with the Hero Association. He kind of just does what he wants. This leads Blue to believe that the Hero Association is very corrupt and that cooperation is impossible. But then we cut to this cafe where Forte and some other A-class heroes that we've seen in the past are helping watch Overgrown Rover and Black S, and we find out that they have been all invited to join the Neo Heroes. That's when we get this like quick breakdown from Black S of kind of like a bird's eye view of everything that's been going on. Essentially, everyone's been losing trust in the Hero Association. When people should really be working together right now, they're just splitting apart, and this is beneficial to monsters because there's just a bunch of chaos going on. Then Saitama shows up with dog food, and in that moment, he is confronted by a mysterious group of people. We don't know exactly who yet. Well, if we just check right here and I make my screen smaller so you guys can see less of me. You see in the opening page for the episode, or for the chapter actually, here this cover page is actually just like kicking off the chapter because they say we are, and on the next one, they reveal who they are, the Hero Names Victims Association. We are heroes who were given bully-like names and have gathered together as a group to demand an apology from the Hero Association and hero name changes. And some of the heroes that are in this group you're definitely going to recognize, but we start getting like a list of all their names, and they're all like in one fashion, pretty funny. First we have C-Class rank 198, Drunkard, then C-Class rank 83, Toupee Warrior. After that we got C-Class rank 385, Hero Red Nose, which we've seen before, C-Class rank 160, Dr. Grumpy Pervert, B-Class rank 100, and this guy actually looks pretty cool, but his name kind of sucks, the Great Degenerate. And like this is like where the one humor, like one's like great sense of humor takes over in this chapter. Like Saitama, it's implied that he believes that this is like the fabled Neo Heroes organization that's been kind of like plucking a bunch of heroes and transferring them over to the Neo Heroes. So in a completely serious face, he's like, oh, you must be the rumored, and then, you know, Forte kind of cuts in and says that they're not, but it seems like he's not even paying attention, to be honest. And then we gotta remember Black S is here observing all this, so he starts making some observations that kind of like, we have to remember that he's still just kind of like planning to break away from Saitama and do his like evil monster stuff, but he's just kind of replenishing his energy by eating dog food and replenishing his cell count. So then he starts giving his like analysis of Saitama and what his potential weakness is. He starts saying, yesterday did Saitama let Monster Eye's Sweet Mask get away? So there's a chance to take advantage of his openings after all. He's strong but not harsh enough, so a monster with enough cunning can escape Saitama. Anyway, are guys like this the only ones left? The countdown to collapse is almost over. Neo Heroes seem to have taken all the promising prospects. But we find out that Black S might be wrong in this analysis because immediately after that, we then cut over to this. But just before that, I want to give a quick shout out to GamerSupps and thank you for sponsoring this video because they have a pretty big sale coming up on the 19th. It starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, and as you can see right here, they're giving away a bunch of free stuff with the purchase of any tub. Personally, I use GamerSupps all the time to give me energy to like make these videos. I'm drinking some right now. Currently my favorite flavor is this JoJo's themed one. It's called Ocean Stone Fruit, but right now if you use the link in my description below and use code ANIMEX at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order along with some of this free stuff. If, for example, you order 1 tub, you'll get a free Christmas waifu cup. If you order 2 tubs, you get a free small merch item. For 3 tubs, you get a free waifu Dragon D's jug. 4 tubs, you get a free t-shirt of any choice. And with 5 tubs, you get a free mouse pad or a large merch item of your choice. As you can kind of see right here, there's a lot of the stuff that you can get for free. A lot of aesthetically pleasing to a lot of you guys waifu cups here, so definitely lots of stuff to choose from. But most importantly, it helps support the channel greatly, helps keep the lights on in here. So if you guys can click my link in the description below, use code ANIMEX, and get some of this stuff to get some free stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. And you know, it might make some good Christmas gifts for some of your friends. So do that, but for now, back to the video. So we then cut over to none other than Suiko, because remember in a few previous chapters, we learned that she was recruited by the Hero Association, who were really looking for her master Suicho, but they're like, you know what, we can't leave empty-handed, so they decided to take her in. To be honest, we're gonna be pretty surprised with like how strong she is, based on the next few panels, because honestly, I didn't think that she was this strong, but it seems like she is. They end up actually asking about her brother because they did some digging and realized that like Suiryu has won a bunch of these super fight tournaments and is probably super strong, but she emphasizes my brother is a slacker, he's probably out there fooling around, I guess, when in reality we know that he joined the Neo Heroes. The recruiters seem kind of bummed out and like thinking that she's kind of just like a consolation prize, which kind of pisses her off a little bit. It would piss me off as well, but then we see when she joins like one of like the simulation or training grounds to prove her strength, we get this amazing double page spread of her just like slicing easily through one of like the training robots that they have there. Pretty awesome panel. Just another quick flex by Murata to remind us, you know, that he's one of the goated artists in manga. I really love how it shows kind of like the movement from like when she first bursts through the robot to how she lands. It's just like the way he draws movement is always like one of my favorite things that Murata does. It's very cool. And it turns out the technique she's using is the void revolving tortoise fist. And yet again, another cool pose. Well, it turns out even after all this, she doesn't get placed in the S class, like pretty understandably, because the S class is just a bunch of like superhuman freaks, but she does get placed in A class automatically. But the recruiters also point out that like her true potential will be unleashed through combat, and she's only 18 years old, so she has a lot of room to grow. Like she can only get stronger from here. And Suiko's like, you know what, fine, I'll take A class, I'll just work hard and work my way up as I'm supposed to. And honestly, for you Suiko fans out there, we have a ton of like great shots of her, including this one. I really like this one because it just makes her seem like very like determined and powerful. I don't know, I enjoyed it. And she says, I'm gonna kill it as a hero and surprise the hell out of that wandering brother of mine, which is a perfect segue to this next scene here. And this is the part that's gonna get you very, very excited, because we cut to Suiryu and he's like, this is my team's target. And his target is none other than our boy Garou, who seems to have gotten a job as a mover. Of course, though, no matter what he's doing, what he's wearing, this man just like radiates aura at all times. And just look at the dude's physique. I mean, come on, man. This guy has been staying in shape. And honestly, I'm kind of digging the new haircut. Like, I'm also a fan of like the two like spiky pointed parts of his hair that he used to have, but now he's kind of rocking a shorter look. I honestly think it looks pretty good. Kind of gives me the vibe of a young Bang, if you guys remember those like chapters where we saw Bang when he was, a younger guy. So apparently the Neo Heroes wants to eliminate or take Garou into custody, and they even say like if he resists like and he doesn't choose to fight, like make him fight. They're pretty much like trying to antagonize him. If you guys are familiar like with the webcomic and what's going on in the webcomic right now, you can kind of get a good idea of why they were probably trying to do this. But for now, all we know is that Suiryu is going to be sent with the team to go fight Garou and capture him, which is going to be really awesome because it's going to be martial arts master or prodigy versus martial arts prodigy. If you guys watch the season 2 OVAs of One Punch Man, we've already seen them like kind of fight like in a virtual setting, but here we're going to finally see it like actually live. So something I'm definitely very excited for in the coming chapters, because the way that it happens in the webcomic is pretty awesome, and I have no doubt that Murata is going to kill it here as well. But we kind of move away from that for now, and we actually pull up to a training session between Saitama and Genos. And Saitama's doing like a very similar punch to what he did in season 1, where he like holds his punch and pulls it, but it creates this like massive shockwave behind Genos. And then Saitama asks, did you get the data? And then Genos responds by saying, yes, Dr. Kuseno should be able to make his analysis using today's battle record. Which seems like kind of like a little throwaway thing, like, okay, Dr. Kuseno's just collecting data on Saitama, whatever. Probably just trying to build a new upgrade for Genos. But for those of you that have been reading the webcomic and you're up to date with things, you know that this stuff has actually much bigger implications, and it's kind of like just a little seed being planted. So just hang on to that for now. But besides that, Genos starts contemplating what happened to Sweet Mass afterwards. No, I can't ask him that. And he's considering asking Saitama, like, what the hell happened? Because nobody besides Saitama knows what happened with the My Mask at this point. He kind of just, like, fled, and then Genos ended up, like, intercepting Blue. So he himself doesn't even know what happened, but he holds back from asking him because it seems like Saitama's, like, really, like, thinking about something, like, very serious about something. So then he starts thinking, there's a worrisome look on Sensei's face that's different from normal. When the right time comes, I am sure Sensei will tell me. And it's supposed to build this like moody, like very serious moment, because anything that's making Saitama like actually like contemplate seriously is probably a very like high level, serious, like world ending thing that he's like worrying about. This guy that's undefeatable, what would get him worried, right? And then we get a peek into what Saitama is really thinking at this moment. And this is again where like one's humor really comes out to shine. And because like the deep thoughts that Saitama is having are these: the emergence of a new organization such as the Hero Named Victims Association. From now on, the balance of powers will change drastically. I shall tell Genos when the time comes. I just think it's super funny that like the Neo Heroes, like the real threat, the real real serious threat to the Hero Association is, you know, kind of like, it's almost like Saitama is giving the importance to the Hero Name Victims Association, like the same level of importance as he should be the Neo Heroes. As we know, Saitama's like rarely ever involved in like the actual like serious storyline of the series. He's always kind of like doing his own thing. And this is going to be one kind of just like giving Saitama something to do that kind of like intermingles eventually with what's happening in the story. So it looks like Saitama's going to be joining this new Hero Association. We're also going to be getting Suiryu versus Garou very soon, so I'm very excited for that. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this chapter though. Again, if you want to support the channel and also get some energy, some clean energy, then click the link in the description below and use my code AnimeX with GamerSupps and, you know, get yourself some cool stuff and some free stuff right now while they got that sale going on. That is it for this video though. Have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.